The NFL draft has just finished, so I'm going to be giving you guys a video of my biggest winners and biggest losers. After this, wait and see, be patient. If you do not see your team on this video, I will be dropping a video for every single NFL team, giving them draft grades. I'm going in alphabetical order, so if your team isn't in this video, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Your team will be coming up soon. So with that being said, let's jump into it. This is going to be the biggest winners and losers. I'm obviously going to start off with the winners. No, this isn't just by chance that Arizona starts with an A and they're right here. I actually have Arizona Cardinals as one of my biggest winners of the NFL draft. Why? I'm going to get into this. So as we know, they had the third pick in the NFL draft. They traded out of the third pick, gave Texans the third pick. They got Will Anderson. What did they do? They traded back. They got their tackle in Paris Johnson Jr., which is smart. Best tackle in the draft, in my opinion. Then in the second round, you grabbed your edge with good value. B.J. Ojulari was arguably a first-round edge talent, and he went to them in the second round. Okay? Then Garrett Williams is another good value pick. Nothing wrong with adding a receiver, but their biggest win, the reason they're in the biggest win category for me, by the way, all the winners, no one is the clear winner. They're all just in the winners category. The reason they are the biggest winner, okay, look at this. Yeah, turn off notifications. Arizona Cardinals current 2024 draft picks. They have 2 first-round picks. They have a first-round pick from the Texans. They have their own second-round pick. They have 3 third-round picks because they made a trade in the second round with the Titans. Okay, so they have theirs, the Texans, and the Titans. All to teams that drafted in the top 15 this year. I think the Titans were at 11. So literally they have 3 picks in the third round for teams that were in the top 11 this year. They have 2 fourth-round picks. One is projected comp pick. 2 fifth-round picks. One from the Eagles. And a 7th. Okay, so they have 11 picks next year. They have 11 picks next year. That's crazy. Look at this comment. Tanking for Caleb Williams is going well. Honestly, looking really good for a rebuild. Can you stop her? Honestly, looking really good for a rebuild. This is crazy. And to do that, all while getting a good edge, a good tackle, and a serviceable corner. Look at the trades they did. Look at the trades they did. That's wild. Literally wild. And Owen is actually a decent pick in round 5. I mean, this QB pick here as well. There's nothing wrong with getting a backup QB. So, and look, they got 2 offensive linemen, a starting edge player for them, considering Will Anderson was projected to them. They kind of went on the discount pick on that in B.J. Ojulari. That's a home run draft for them, considering next year's draft talent is so much better than this year's. All right, they're probably not going to have DeAndre Hopkins next year. Marvin Harrison's going to be a top 5 pick. If they decide to move on from Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams or Drake May is there next year. They have enough picks to move around. And for some reason, if they're number 1 or the Texans are number 1, they literally either decide to stick with Kyler and get rid of that for either Drake May and Caleb Williams to get a bag similar to what the Bears did this year. They're in a hell of a position due to what they did this year. So they're a huge winner for me. Another big winner, which was literally the talk of the draft in the beginning, was Philadelphia Eagles. Okay? Why? Philadelphia Bulldogs at this point. Okay? We got to pause this. Look what happened. They traded up from 10 to number 9. They got Jalen Carter, who was in the offseason before his whole off the field issues, was the number 1 overall pick. It was between him and Will Anderson. If the Bears stayed at number 1, Jalen Carter was in talks. Then he had the whole off the field issue, had the whole looking out of shape and fat at his combine. Now he just fell to the Eagles, who, by the way, last year got Jordan Davis and Nolan Smith. I'm sorry, Jordan Davis and the linebacker, Nakobe Dean. 2 Georgia players right there, both of them first-round talents. This year, Jalen Carter falls to them. Perfect pairing with Jordan Davis. Now, Nolan Smith falls to them at 30. Kid blew apart the combine. Ran like a sub 4.4 as a defensive end. Yeah, he's a little undersized. But come on. Other 2 picks in here that I love. Sidney Brown, the safety out of Illinois. Awesome pick. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's gone. That's a solid pick. And look, in round 4, they got Kelee Ringo, which before this year was a first-round pick, arguably number 1 or 2 corner in this draft. He fell off this year. He got torched by Marvin Harrison in the game against Ohio State. But a 4th-round pick for Kelee Ringo that literally leaves them with Kelee Ringo, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, and Jordan Davis. That's 5 defensive players from that championship team. Oh, by the way, they traded away, I believe, a 5th and a 7th round pick for DeAndre Swift. So literally their biggest hole, they just got DeAndre Swift. They got rid of Miles Sanders, gets DeAndre Swift. Their depth chart is absurd. It's absurd what they did. To me, I think they're the clear winner of the draft. Clear winner of the draft. It's hard. The other team here as winners, we have a couple winners, only a handful of losers. And honestly, the losers were not that easy to pick. So, my winner here, Steelers made a huge move up. Huge move up. They made the trade with New England to hop. They made a huge trade to hop the Jets to take the last first-round talent tackle in the draft. They hop the Jets, take Broderick Jones, which was a huge need. Huge need for them. Stud of a pick, stud of a tackle, and then what do? They got rid of Chase Claypool for the number 1 pick in the 2nd round, which, by the way, is a first-round pick because it's pick 32 because the Dolphins didn't have a first-round pick. Any other draft, it's a first-round pick. So what do? Joey Porter Jr. falls to them to complete that perfect Cinderella story where his father plays. They got a starting offensive tackle. You got a starting cornerback. Then you get Keanu Benton, who is a great pairing with Casey Hayward. Or Cam Hayward. I think it's Cam Hayward. Great pairing, big body. And then what happens? In round 3, Darnell Washington takes a slide because apparent knee issues. Well, guess what? The 6'7" tight end out of Georgia, who can arguably be another offensive lineman, you check him out. You got him for a 3rd-round pick. That's a stud pick. Stud pick. And guess what? Corey Trice here in the 7th round. This kid had a 4th or 5th round grade on him in the 7th. Awesome draft by the Steelers. Covered almost every single need that they had. If you scroll up here, look. O-line, corner, D-line. What'd they do? In that order. O-line, corner, D-line. Stud. Stud draft for them. Now you turn around, keeping it in division actually. This was a sneaky draft for me, if I remember correctly. So they needed D-line, linebacker, running back. Ready? This is exactly why this is a sneaky good draft for me. I have to pause that. I don't want no copyright issues. Cedric Tillman. They didn't have a pick until the 3rd round. So, Two-Tone, how the hell is this a good draft? 3rd round, you get Cedric Tillman, the 6'3 receiver out of Tennessee. You just got another big body receiver. Then in the same round, you get Siiki Ika, who was projected in the 2nd round, stud D tackle. Then in the 4th round, you got DeJuan Jones, who, yeah, he's going to have some work on because he can't manage his weight. But 4th round, you get an offensive tackle who is, I believe, like number 53 on Daniel Jeremiah's big board. Got drafted at 111. This dude could have possibly went in the end of the 1st round if people would have said, okay. All right, a little bit of a reach, but okay. And then you have Isaiah McGuire in the 4th round as well. He could start. He can freaking start. I mean, all doing this within the 3rd round and beyond. This is wild. Wild. All the teams you're seeing here, in my eyes, have A grades. I'm going to go deeper into individual videos. Then you go Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who is a smart pick because his play style is Watson-esque. He can learn from there. This kid is a tool that you will love to develop. I'm not saying he's going to be your starter, so don't take it wrong. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson is a great pick in the 5th round. It's an awesome backup QB. And then there's one more name on here that I need to bring attention to. Luke Whippler. Luke Whippler. A very good center, in my eyes, for the 6th round. Dude, every one of their picks are straight value picks. Straight value picks. DeJuan Jones is like 6'8", 375. Just needs to get his weight under control, and he's only going to struggle against major speed rushers. Siiki Ika is a D tackle that you're going to put in the middle, and he's going to have to be double teamed, and he's just going to clog up the middle. What does that mean? Myles Garrett time. Cedric Tillman is a 6'3 receiver who's a stud. Good hands, good speed. Luke Whippler could be your backup center right now. Give this kid a year, he's going to start. I think he came out. I honestly just think he needed a little bit more time. Is really my feelings on him. I just think he needed a little bit more time. My other big winner in this draft, man. This was really cool to watch. If you guys tuned into the live, you can even go watch the live again. Day 1, I was blown away by this. I was blown away by this kid. Oh, I have another one to add to this list now that it's on the top of my head. They needed QB, receiver, and D-line. Okay? Before this draft, there was talks. Oh my God, CJ Stroud may not go number 2 to them. It may be Will Anderson. Maybe both of them were true. Why? Look at this. Look at this. See, they get their QB, they get their franchise QB at 2. They trade away next year's first, which we went over with the Cardinals, They get number 2 and 3 in the draft. Why? They needed the end. They got Will Anderson. CJ Stroud was arguably number 1 in the draft. Will Anderson was also arguably number 1 in the draft. What do we do? Let's just go get them both and say screw it. First year head coach, let's put our you-know-whats on the table. That is sick. That is sick. Immediate, crazy improvement on both sides of the ball. Juice Scruggs was honestly a little bit of a reach for me, but it's all right because they made up with Tank Dell. Nathaniel Tank Dell, awesome pick. Pick 3, another receiver going there. I believe Mechie is back. Brandon Cooks is gone. Tank Dell is there, man. And then what do? Amazing value in Henry Toa in the 5th round at linebacker. I mean, come on. And I believe they drafted one of these guys to be a guard. But look at this. This right here and this. Henry, their 5th round pick and their 1st round picks won them this draft. Literally gave them an A draft. That is awesome. And what a rock star pick for a first year guy. CJ Stroud and then Will Anderson. And then you give him Tank Dell. I mean, guys, this is cool. You're seeing the different types of drafting now. These past couple of years, you're seeing different type of drafting. You're seeing a lot of teams moving back just because they know they're ready to rebuild. They're just not there. So let's see if we could be competitive this year and just have a shit ton of picks next year, aka Cardinals, aka Bears, which honestly did a good job in this draft too. And then you got teams like the Texans saying, let's just put it all on the table. We like these 2 guys. We want them. Let's go get them. That's freaking awesome. Okay? Other one I really, really loved, and this is more of a development draft for them. The Colts. They needed QB, corner, and O-line. Okay? Ready? Let me mute this for a second. I'm going to shut my... I'm not even going to cut that out because that was 2 seconds. What do? At number 4, you grab the highest ceiling player in this draft, Anthony Richardson. Okay? You have Shane Steichen. He developed Herbert. He developed Jalen Hurts. You are not putting him, or Shane Steichen. You're not putting him in a better position to develop than this. They already came out and said that he's going to start, so I'm a little questionable on it. But you got Anthony Richardson. Dude tore up the combine. He needs to get a little bit better at throwing. So I think they reached a little bit on Brent on the corner in the 2nd round. I think there was better value there, to be honest with you. But look, 3rd round, you got Josh Downs. Josh Downs is the speed receiver out of North Carolina. Why is that huge? You have Pierce, Pittman, and now Josh Downs at wide receiver. Anthony Richardson is going to be able to throw bombs to Downs. He's going to be able to throw bombs to Downs. And Pittman is that 50-50 receiver. Now they got 2 deep threats. And Pierce is a stud. Not only that, now you do the right thing in protecting him. Now you're grabbing a tackle, Blake Freeland, who I had a honest high 3rd round grade on. Blake Freeland out of BYU. Awesome. Adebaware is literally supposed to go in like mid to late 2nd round. You got him in the 4th. And look, you got your QB, you got your corner, and you helped out your offensive line. Look at this. And then you in the 7th, you grab another offensive lineman. Darius Rush, another stud value there. He's supposed to be a beginning 4th round pick. Nice value there as well. And Will Mallory, tight end. Another another position to help out Anthony Richardson. They have Jelani Woods there. Now you also have Will Mallory. Come on, guys. You catching this? This is nice. They're building the team around to help him. And my last winner of the day, I literally just thought about this making this video. I like the Carolina Panthers draft. They needed QB, they needed a linebacker, and they needed receiver. What did they do? You got Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick, best QB in the draft. Him and CJ Stroud going 1 and 2. We all knew this the whole time. Why do I like their draft? Bryce Young, you got your franchise QB. Then you got Jonathan Mingo in the 2nd round. He's nasty. There's your DJ Moore replacement. And the other reason I like this pick, Chandler in the 4th round. Chandler in the 4th round is a stud at guard. Why? NC State played with Akeem Ekwonu. Literally going to be on the other side of Akeem Ekwonu. Young line, decent line, honestly, decent line. And you did the right thing. You did the right thing, giving Bryce Young time. I mean, guys, this is awesome. Absolute awesome. I don't want to put grades on these yet. I don't want to put grades on these teams because I would like to do individual videos. So please tune into the videos. All right, we're at 450 subscribers. I would love 1,000 subscribers before the beginning of the season. I'm going to grind it out as hard as I can. All support is greatly appreciated on this channel. I'm going to get into the losers. Okay? Now, I don't think any team really bombed this year's draft. All right? So I have to choose some of the worst draft picks. My first losers of this year's draft is going to be, I know, the popular, I don't want to see the ad, the popular Dallas Cowboys. Why? I think they panicked on Mozzie Smith a little bit. I did not have a first-round grade on Mozzie. They picked him before Brian Brees. I know they're totally different defensive tackles. Mozzie Smith is going to go in there, eat up two offensive linemen. I get it. I think they panicked a little bit. At this point, they wanted tight end. You should have went Michael Mayer. You should have went Michael Mayer. What did they do? They went Luke Schoonmaker in the 2nd. They needed tight end. I think Luke Schoonmaker was a little bit of a reach there. Honestly. A little bit of a reach there. Only pick I was really like, yo, that's a good pick for them, is honestly Deuce Vaughn. I thought Deuce Vaughn in the 6th round is a nice pick, makes sense for them. Plus, his dad is one of their scouts. So, it's a feel-good story a little bit. Other than that, I mean, you can't go wrong with offensive tackle. I think Fayoko was a little bit of a reach here. Overshown was a right pick. I mean, like I said, they kind of got their needs. I thought offensive lineman would have been a little higher here. I mean, I get it. Offensive lineman was not there in the 1st round. But Schoonmaker and Mozzie Smith, in my eyes, were a little bit of a reach. The other loser. If it decides to load. Jacksonville needed corner, offensive line, and defensive line. All right? So, what did they do? Anton Harrison at pick 27. This isn't a brutal pick, but it's still a project at offensive tackle. You traded back. That's how they have so many picks on this. They traded back. And you went Anton Harrison. I get it. It was the best available at the time. But you traded back and you didn't really do much with your picks, in my opinion. Then in the second round, you went Brenton Strange. I don't like that pick. I think, once again, that was a little bit of a reach. Darnell Washington went in the fourth round. I get the whole knee injury and everything, but come on. Tank Bigsby, it's okay. It's an all right pick. It's an all right pick for that spot. Honestly, the only pick that blew me away, and I'm like, yo, crazy value, good for you guys, that's a great pick, was Antonio Johnson in the fifth. They needed defensive back. Antonio Johnson was literally mocked on some people's mocks in the second and third round. You got him in the fifth. Other than that, I'm not blown away by any of these other picks. Shout out to Christian on the bottom here in the sixth round. Big Rutgers fan. I hope he turns out well. But all these other picks, you guys traded back. You didn't really do much with it. That's why I'm like a little confused here. My last loser of this draft, unfortunately, is going to be Washington. They needed corner. They needed offensive line. They needed tight end. What'd they do? You went back-to-back with corners. Emmanuel Forbes at 16, in my opinion, is a reach. Why? Christian Gonzalez was still on the board. What are you guys doing? Deontay Banks was still on the board. Joey Porter Jr. was still on the board. What? Why are you guys going Emmanuel Forbes? He's 166 pounds. You're playing the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants. The Eagles have A.J. Brown. The Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb. They're bigger receivers. What are you doing with a 166-pound guy? I get the back-to-back corner picks, but other than that, there's not a single name on this list that I can sit here and say you got good value. There's not another single name where I can say you got good value. I'm going to leave you guys with one more team who was honestly brink of my winners list, only because I really liked how their draft fell. On the brink of my winners list, I'm going to give you two teams probably. All right? Brink of winners, Brian Brees is going to be, the New Orleans Saints. They went into this draft needing D-line, tight end, and offensive line. They went back-to-back picks on their defensive line on Brian Brees and Isaiah Foskey. Brian Brees is a home run pick if he's healthy, and Isaiah Foskey was arguably first-round talent. Yeah, it's second-round pick 9. Awesome pick, and I love this Old Dominion pick in the 4th, and I love the 6th-round pick with A.T. Perry. I love this. And my other brink of the winners, I'm going to throw this in here, guys, just for a little added value. The New York Giants. This was Fringe winners. I didn't want to make the winners too long. So, Fringe winners. Why? You need wide receiver, O-line, and corner. So, what'd you do? You came in and got Deontay Banks, which before this draft, I said Deontay Banks was your home run pick in the first round, and you got him. And guess what? In round 2, you got John Michael Schmitz, who is now going to be your starting center. Or kick him at guard. I don't know how they view him. He's going to start for you guys. He had a first-round grade. These top 2 guys, these top 3 guys were all projected to them in the first round at some point in somebody's mocks. And you got him in 1, 2, and 3. Now, the only thing I was upset about the Jalen Hyatt pick, Cedric Tillman was on the board. Jalen Hyatt is shorter. You got Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, in my eyes, Cedric Tillman probably would have been the better pick because he's 6'3". but Jalen Hyatt was a better value. So that makes sense. I don't understand the Eric Gray pick. I understand another corner. I understand the D tackle. And you got to say, these realistically are, well, this is realistically a special teams pick. But these three right here are a home run. These were just a little too weird for me to make you hit the winners list. Because the other really, just blew me away. So, guys, that is actually going to be the end of today's video. Today literally is the day the draft ended. I'm going to sit here and say thank you guys for watching. I appreciate any support that comes to the channel. And please stay patient. I will do a draft grade for your team. Just subscribe and you will eventually see it. Thank you, as always, for watching.